Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Rafael Maris, and I'm the Executive Director at the Neighborhood Developers. We really lucked out with the weather today. Not too long ago, we had storms and rain, and that would not have been as fun, but it doesn't matter what the weather is like. This would have been a great day nonetheless, because together, all of us transformed a vacant lot into this beautiful building of 51 affordable housing units. So I'm going to have to do a little sidebar here, because I know this is a sophisticated crowd, and you know it wasn't always a vacant lot. So right here where we're standing was a dive bar, The Cove, and it was beloved. You can check it out on Yelp. It has 4.5 stars. But I want to assure you, because this is important, I want to assure you that no animals or dive bars were harmed in the development of this building, because the dive bar, The Cove, was closed at the time that we acquired this building. As you can tell, ribbon cuttings are my favorite days at T&D, second only to move-in days. I drive by this location, this building, all the time to pick up my son from soccer practice at the high school. And I had the pleasure of doing it the night of move-in day, where families moved into this building for the first time. And I came by here, and the lights were on in apartments. People were out on balconies, enjoying a pleasant night and the beautiful views from their apartments. And there was this nervous excitement in the air that I think you might have all felt before at some point, which is so excited to be in a new place, and at the same time, you haven't fully moved in yet, so you don't know where anything is. And I think that's what it's all about. I feel that way about all of our buildings, but this one is special. Over the last number of years, there are about 2,000 units, market rate units, that went up on the beach. And while they help increase our housing supply in the city of Revere and in our region, those apartments are out of reach for the vast majority of my neighbors here in Revere. And just last week, we celebrated the 125th anniversary of Revere Beach, the nation's first public beach. And so it's with great pride that we're here today celebrating the addition of 51 deed-restricted affordable housing units. It's worth mentioning in this context that we're not just steps away from the beach, but we are also very close to public transportation. The Wonderland station, Blue Line Wonderland station, is right around the corner, and there's a bunch of bus lines that you can access from here, including the 116 right over there, and if you so desire, you can take it right to our office in Chelsea. I think we need more affordable housing like this in Revere if we want to maintain its diversity that makes the city so unique and so special. I want to thank Mayor Arrigo and his administration for continuing to make affordable housing a priority in the city of Revere, in this neighborhood, but also in Revere in general. It takes a village to build affordable housing like this. We collaborated with city, state, federal, and private partners in order to build this building. And if it wasn't for the time, energy, and money that all of you put into this building, this wouldn't have happened. So thank you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Because it takes a village to build a building like this, I can't name everyone today, but I'm gonna try to name some people who played a big role in this, who are here today. Mayor Brian Arrigo, City Council President Zambudo, the truck agrees, At-large City Councilor Visconti, Ward 2 City Councilor Ira Novoselsky, Ward 3 City Councilor Guarnizo, and Ward 5 City Councilor Powers. Thank you for being here and for your support. Jen McDonough from DHCD. Where are you? Wave. Oh, there you are. Rob Charest of Boston Financial Investment Management. Alexis Terzeran, Home Director, North Suburban Consortium. Cynthia Lacasse, Director of Rental Business at Mass Housing. Sarah Barkin, CDAC, Director of Housing Development at CDAC. Bob Dorfman, President Dorfman Capital. Bob, where are you? Kristen Harrell, President of the Life Initiative. And I'd also like to thank the NEI team, our general contractors. Our architects, Arrow Street. Our development consultant, Peter Munkenbach. Our legal counsel, Klein Hornick, D'Ambrosio Brown, and Noble Wickersham and Hart. Our owner's rep, Matt Munkenbach. Our environmental engineer, Irwin Engineers. Our civil engineer, Hancock Associates. Our landscape architect, Offshoots. Our geotechnical engineer, the Geotechnical Partnership. Our property managers, Wynn Residential. Our accountants, AAF. Metro Housing Boston, our partner. And our mural artists, Alex Karasev, Mitsuka Berry, Robert Peters, and Suri Chavez. You will hear from some of them in our speaking program later on. But last but not least, I'd like to thank our internal team. And when I say internal team, I mean our real estate development team, our resident services team, and Wynn Residential. And you say to yourself, Raphael, Wynn Residential isn't part of your team. They're a third party. But Wynn Residential is in our building. They attended our last staff meeting, and they believe in our mission, so they're family. Thank you, Vanessa and Salinas, for everything you've done to get us to this point. But in particular, I want to thank you for being patient with us as we were taking the final steps to secure a temporary certificate of occupancy. And for the beautifully orchestrated move-in day that resulted in that scene that I described before. I'd like to thank our resident services team, in particular Natalie and Marilyn. You have been instrumental, there you are, you've been instrumental in getting all the tenants settled in this building and comfortable. Thank you for everything that you do. And Steve and Cassie, you have worked tirelessly and countless hours to make sure that this building gets done right and on time. And I'd also like to thank you for your vision and for recognizing that the community needs input in the design of this building. So you may have seen it already, but when you walk around, please make sure to check out the 4 murals that we have, all local artists, and there will be an additional art project actually right here on this level in the garage that is made possible by Arrow Street. I feel incredibly honored in this moment to be able to call up Charlene Bauer, who's our treasurer and former board president. She's been an incredible sounding board and cheerleader for all of our development projects. And so please join me in welcoming Charlene to the podium.
It truly does, I'm going to move this down, it truly does take a village, and I'm just so impressed with all the work, all the great work that everybody has done to make this incredible structure happen. So, Raphael, thank you. I'm delighted to be here celebrating such a special occasion with you and all the partners who have made this possible. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of the Neighborhood Developers Board of Directors. Our board is composed of residents of the communities that we serve, and in addition, individuals who bring unique expertise and professional knowledge related to our mission to build great neighborhoods. I'd like to recognize a couple board members. So we have Peter Holland, who is our vice president, and Guadalupe Penameno. Guadalupe, where are you? Right there, thank you. Welcome, thank you for coming. So this project in many ways represents the aspirations we have and continue to have as we seek to create equitable, healthy neighborhoods. 571 Revere really represents the best of what we think is possible. This project has all the key ingredients for a healthy neighborhood: affordable homes to a broad range of families, ways to get public transit quickly and easily, access to jobs in the region, and access to the first public beach in the United States. The City of Revere had a vision, and this project fits that vision. So on behalf of the Board of Directors, congratulations to the neighborhood developers and all the hard work that all the employees contributed, the City of Revere, Mayor Brian Arrigo, and to all the residents here present, congratulations. Now it's my distinct honor and privilege to welcome Mayor Brian Arrigo to say a few words.
Thank you, Charlene. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry. And I want to thank Raphael for his friendship and his partnership. The relationship between the city and TND, and the relationship that we've forged over our time together has yielded substantial results for our community and for our neighborhoods. And I certainly look forward to a sustained relationship in the future. Those of us gathered today here certainly understand the gravity of the housing crisis in our country, in the region, and in our city. We and the city have poured over a lot of data on rising housing costs. We've navigated the challenges of developing greater housing stock, and we've been working on implementing strategies to promote affordability. The effects of the crisis, however, are felt most by the people that I see every day in our city, our residents. Working hard day by day, seeing an even larger portion of their income and their earnings go towards their housing costs month by month. Our residents are grappling with the human reality of a very complex web of forces that have caused housing costs to rise to the level that they're at now. And the high cost of housing hurts especially in Revere because for generations, we have been a haven for the working class that keeps our region afloat. And today, that identity that we have as a community is in flux. And we share a duty, all of us here today, to be authentic to our past while promoting policies that benefit all of our residents. So today's ribbon cutting marks a triumph in our work and in our campaign to make sure that Revere remains affordable and an affordable haven in our region. 571 Revere is a true testament to what can be accomplished when many people come together, especially state, local, and federal government, developers, other private and community stakeholders, and when they all work together to strategically benefit a neighborhood. Offering a wide array of units restricted to certain income levels and just steps away from the beach, this building replicates the unique configurations that have made Revere a city that we all love. Our neighbors who have moved into 571 will find homes that offer them dignity with affordability. And I think it's important to note for some of the folks here that the majority of units that have been offered to longtime Revere residents. I look forward to many more ribbon cuttings like this one in the very near future. And to that end, my administration has relied on TND and our relationship to continue developing strategies to promote housing affordability. And I want to thank the City Council. With their support, we've recently passed an affordable housing trust fund, which, believe it or not, we didn't have one up until just recently. And we will be working to appoint a board of critical thinking, experienced leaders to help steward housing production in our community. We have a lot of work to do, and that's a small step towards what we need to do. But I know that many of the people here today will help us accomplish our goals as a community. So thank you to everyone that's here today. Thank you, Raphael, again, for your friendship and your partnership. And it is an honor and pleasure to be here today. Thank you.
Cynthia?
I think you, oh, I got it. Sorry about that. Thank you, Mayor Arrigo. It is now my honor to welcome Cynthia Lacasse, Director of Rental Business Development at Mass Housing. Mass Housing committed $1.8 million in funding to the 19 workforce housing units and approved a $6 million permanent loan to make this project possible. Join me in welcoming Cynthia.
Thank you, Raphael and Mr. Mayor and all the city councilors and everybody. Thank you very much. And congratulations and a big thanks to you, TND, and your village for creating this amazing development that has become home to 51 very lucky families. And as Raphael said, we're pleased and proud to have provided permanent financing as well as funding for the 19 workforce housing units, which are being rented to middle-income individuals and families. Mass Housing's workforce housing program is in its fifth year. And as Raphael said, there are a lot of opportunities for market rate tenants everywhere. And the state has a pretty robust affordable housing, lower income housing, financing infrastructure, certainly not enough, but prior to the creation of the workforce housing program, there was no funding to create middle income rental units. And so we're really, really proud. And through this groundbreaking effort, no pun intended, the agency has now committed over $125 million to facilitate the production of almost 5,000 new rental units in the Commonwealth, and close to 1,400 of those are workforce housing for families making between 60% and 120% of area median income. And I'm happy to report that families are actually living in 725, and actually there's more because I didn't realize that this development was leased up. 725, 750 of the units, we actually have tenants living in them. So we're really proud. And as most of you know, in 2019, Mass Housing launched the equivalent of middle-income home ownership program called Commonwealth Builder in Boston and the Gateway cities. The program, along with a lot of other support, down payment assistance programs, is designed to directly address the racial home ownership gap in the Commonwealth. In fact, the governor spoke passionately about this issue just last week in Lawrence. Raphael was there and several of us were there. And I'm happy to report that Commonwealth Builder has also started delivering units for purchase by middle-income families. And once again, thank you to TND for being one of the first developers to break ground on some homeownership Commonwealth Builder units in a property in a community near here. So I know there are a lot of speakers today, so I would like to close and thanking once again to everyone who made this development possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. Now I'd like to welcome to the podium Robert Charest, Senior Vice President at Boston Financial Investment Management, Boston Financial Investment Management served as this project's low-income housing tax credit investor, $7.7 million.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here at the open mic. I'm going to start with a wagon wheel. All right, maybe not. All right. Thank you, everybody. How awesome is this? I haven't seen many of you in so long. This is really, really great. We have a really small, tight-knit light tech community here. And so, honestly, it's Sarah to see you and Joe rocking the new beard. It's really, really cool. So happy to be here. Happy to be here. So yeah, for those that don't know me, I'm Rob Charest, Boston Financial. We're a national low-income housing tax credit syndicator. I focus my time here in the Northeast. Speaking on behalf of Boston Financial, but also Santander Bank. Santander was our ultimate investor, and they were the construction lender on the project. They can't be here with us today, but they send their best wishes. They do a lot of great work in the Commonwealth, and they'll be doing a lot more. Excellent. So I'd like to thank the local government officials, our friends at Mass Housing, DHCD, all of our sister agencies here, and of course our long-term partners at T&D. Raphael, thank you so much. You gotta let me know where you got those shoes. Those are pretty awesome. Charlene, Steve, Cassie, just an honor working with you guys. It's an awesome, awesome team. Looking forward to do very many more. To the agencies, this is an important paragraph of notes I wrote down. Thank you so much for the scarce financial resources you commit to the projects. Without it, these do not happen. It looks like there's a magic bag. It's not magic. It's a lot of hard work. So we really appreciate it. We understand what goes into it. Thanks again. Everyone's mentioned 51 units, and importantly, 19 workforce units. Cynthia walks through all the hard work. It's not just hard work. It's groundbreaking. It's first of its kind. As a national group, we get a lot of questions from groups across the country, allocating agencies, trying to get a sense for what other people do around the country. And we talk about Mass Housing's workforce program all the time. It's really, really important. Thank you. So as the finance dork on stage, I'll just really quickly note that all these different alphabet soup of acronyms we throw around with CDAC and HSF and all this good stuff, it represents 9 loans, a bunch of equity capital contributions, $22 million of funding all told. A lot of hard work, a lot of craziness. Our attorneys all deserve to be thanked too. Joe Lieber, thanks for all your work on that. Holland and Knight for representing me. It's a lot of paperwork. Real quick, I'd like to thank the rest of the development team too. Raphael touched on them, but Bob Dorfman, all your work over the years together with state credits, make that look easy. It's not. We're always there at the closing dinner together and getting stuff done. Wynn Residential was mentioned. It's really, really important for us as an investor to go to our ultimate investors and say that as Wynn Residential is managing the property. The conversation stops right there. There's no, can you send me a resume and 85 pages of backup information? We're done. We know the project is going to be in good hands, so thank you. Similarly with NEI, it's really, really comforting to know that you guys have the hard hats on. So thanks for all your amazing work. They're always done on time, on budget, with really, really high quality workmanship. I'll end with a plea. I always like to end with this one. Please support the LIHTC program. Please, please, please. Reach out to your congressman. Write letters. It's not just done by quiet, sitting back and hoping it happens. That 4% fix that we got, that's a lot of letters. That's a lot of screaming and yelling. Please support the Affordable Housing Collaborative. That's our lobbying body in Washington, D.C. The program's crucial to creating safe, affordable housing. And if that's not enough for certain parts of the aisle, it's a huge job creator. So as you're speaking to certain folks, that job creation touches some other sides of the aisle with folks. So please do so. It's very, very important. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rob. Our next speaker is Sarah Barkin, Director of Housing Development at Community Economic Development Assistance Corporation. I'm spelling things out now. CDAC. CDEC is one of our pre-development loan funders and also invested more than $1 million to fund 4 community-based housing units and 2 facilities consolidation fund units.
Good afternoon. I'm so delighted to be here with you to celebrate this incredible project in person. In person, that feels great. On behalf of our Executive Director, Roger Herzog, and our Board Chair, DHCD Undersecretary Jennifer Maddox, I want to extend my congratulations to you, Raphael, to Steve, to Cassie, and the rest of the TND team who got this project completed during such an incredibly challenging time to build housing. Thank you also to Mayor Rigo, to the City Council for your support of this project, and to our legislators for always ensuring that our state housing bond funds remain available for projects like this one. We've been involved with this project almost as long as TND, starting with a pre-development loan back in 2016 to help pay for early expenses. My colleague Sarah McKeever is here somewhere today. And she worked very closely with TND staff over the past 5 years to help see this project to completion. This is one of at least 10 projects to which we've provided pre-development or acquisition funding over the past 3 decades, and we're so grateful for our long-standing partnership with TND. As DHCD's manager of the Commonwealth's supportive housing bond resources, as Raphael mentioned, we made financing available through the community-based housing and facilities consolidation funds. Those are capital programs that pay for units that are reserved for some of our most vulnerable residents, people who live with mobility limitations or chronic mental illness. And this is one of at least a dozen TND projects, whether occupied, currently under construction, or newly committed, for which TND has put its hand up to say, we will house the people who have the greatest struggle to obtain housing, whether due to disability, age, history of homelessness, or other challenges that they live with. That is a huge accomplishment, and we're so grateful. Thank you. In closing, I just want to say that if the past year and a half has taught us one lesson, it's that stable, affordable housing literally saves lives. We know that now. And in Revere and Chelsea, which have been so hard hit by COVID-19, residents of TND's units have often fared so much better than many of their neighbors. We congratulate TND on creating 51 more opportunities for families to live in a safe and healthy environment, and we can't wait for the next project. Thank you.
It's truly an amazing group of individuals. Thank you, Sarah. That was wonderful. So up next, we will hear from Alexis Turgeon, Home Director at North Suburban Consortium, Malden Redevelopment Authority, who provided $1.2 million of local home funds to 571 Revere. Alexis?
Thank you. It is absolutely surreal to be standing up here and seeing this beautiful project come to life. On behalf of the Malden Redevelopment Authority, as the lead agency for the North Suburban Consortium, I am just overjoyed to see this project, years in the making, become a reality. We're really grateful for all the partnerships that have resulted in this beautiful project that helps to address the imminent need for affordable housing within the North Suburban Consortium's communities. As everyone else has said before me, the development of affordable housing is no small task, especially with the complexities involved in the funding, just to name one small facet of the process. We're delighted that the North Suburban Consortium's home funding was able to be an essential part in making this project possible. It was an honor to work with the brilliant minds at the neighborhood developers, the various funding agencies, and all the other players who are able to be here with us today. We are proud to be part of the process that has resulted in 51 new affordable units in the city of Revere, and we look forward to continuing these partnerships in the future to fulfill the NSC's mission of creating and improving affordable housing opportunities for the low and moderate income residents of our communities. I also want to give a special shout out to my predecessor, Jim Barnes, who's here in the audience, as well as the City of Revere staff who worked behind the scenes with MRA to get this project off the ground before I came into the picture. It truly turned out beautiful, and as everyone has said, providing safe and healthy housing for our residents is a top priority. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexis. Up next, I have the pleasure of introducing Kristen Harrell, President of the Life Initiative. We were fortunate to receive an acquisition loan of $2.1 million from the Life Initiative for this project.
Thank you, Raphael. I'm Kristen Harrell from the Life Initiative. We are a community development lender capitalized by life insurance companies in the Commonwealth. And our mission is to support any projects that help low and moderate income people anywhere in the state, which means we do a lot of affordable housing. And the neighbor developers is, I want to say, are one of our best customers, certainly. We've done 11 lending facilities to date, and starting in Chelsea and moving through other communities. I could not be happier to be standing here. Mr. Mayor, I really was moved by what you said earlier about kind of continuing the legacy of Revere and the history. As a kid who grew up in the city, I used to come to this beach. I didn't maybe swim in it back in the day, but dude, I will now. I know. I do. My sister's here too. But for city kids who don't have a lot of money, like this place was welcoming, and it's so unusual in Boston and Massachusetts to have that. And I also know that over the years, just watching as a city, it feels like it just becomes more and more diverse. And that's also a different feeling than other communities. And so it's really lovely to be part of this here and to continue that legacy. So thank you for that. I specifically should really thank Mike Gondek, who is my colleague who does all the work. Just in closing, I would say part of the reason it's wonderful to work with the neighborhood developers is that they're so professional and so easy to work with. Steve and Cassie, I don't know where you are, but they did everything. And it's always like that. Like no matter what the project is, you guys figure out how to get it done. That being said, I feel like we're always asked to do something that's a little bit strange and difficult and weird. And this one seemed really straightforward. I possibly didn't know that it was a bar that we were financing, former bar. So that was a little, but it was relatively straightforward, very expensive, right, for a CDC to buy something like this. So our funds are able to provide that kind of, early stage funding. We're happy to do that. So that seemed risky enough, but as we all know who worked on the project, the Chapter 91 stuff was very complicated and difficult. And so, in this project, our acquisition loan somehow became a construction loan at some point, which is a little unusual. But it is to the credit of TND that we were perfectly comfortable doing that, knowing that you would, in fact, get the project done, and also to all the incredible public lenders and private lenders that were already mentioned. This really is an incredible community to do this work in. And so our early stage money that looks kind of insane to provide that kind of money for a shuttered bar in a wetland was great. And we're thrilled to be a part of it. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kristen. So now, last but certainly not least, I would like to welcome Bob Dorfman of Dorfman Capital to close out our speaking program this afternoon. Dorfman Capital was instrumental in purchasing the state low-income housing tax credits worth $1.6 million.
Thank you, Raphael. Hello, everybody. Yesterday, I was at my 50-year Tufts University swimming team reunion. I was always the last swimmer on the relay team because I was the fastest swimmer. Today, I am the last speaker on our development relay team, so I aim to have the fastest speech. Dorfman Capital provided the $1.6 million of tax credit equity associated with the Massachusetts low-income housing tax credits. The Massachusetts low-income housing tax credits are a critical component of the financing that allow projects like this to be built. We are honored to be a long-term partner with the neighborhood developers and have the highest regard for Raphael, Bill Gordon, Steve LaFerriere, Anita Isaisa, and the entire team whose efforts and determination have brought 571 Revere to fruition. Yay. Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. It is my job to close this program out. So first of all, I would like to remind everyone that there are tours of the interior of the building. We have access to 2 units that are not occupied yet. But before we do that, we will be doing a ribbon cutting. And so now I'd like to ask our guest speakers and partners to join me, and Salma Samit and Mohamed Mehmida and his family, the real host of this event, as they all live here now, to cut the ribbon. We're going to do that at the 571 entrance right over there.
You may cut when ready.
All right, 1, 2, 3.